And zooming out, the ripple effects of the West Asia war widening, now being experienced and felt far beyond. What began as an energy shock is rapidly turning into something far bigger. For communities around the world, this war is no longer just about oil and gas. It's fast becoming a war that hits the most basic need of all, that's food. The reason is in that critical global choke point, the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway is not just a lifeline for energy supplies, but also a key route for fertilizer ingredients like urea, sulfur, which are, of course, essential for modern agriculture. And with the disruptions in the region, nearly 1/3 to half of global fertilizer trade has been affected. 50% of global urea supply is also affected because major suppliers like Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the UAE have been stranded, leading to a price volatility because of the disruption of the global supply chains. So that's the impact. And it's also more severe across structurally vulnerable economies. Countries across Africa and Asia depend heavily on imported fertilizers and fuel. While households spend a large share of income on food, as costs rise, food prices are climbing sharply. In some regions, essential items have become 20 to over 100% more expensive. But then this is not just the developing nations scenario that is facing the impact. The shock waves are now reaching the United States as well, of course. America, despite being a major agricultural powerhouse, is deeply linked to the global fertilizer markets. It imports about 1/4 of its fertilizer needs, including a significant share of nitrogen. The disrupted energy flow is impacting American farmers and growing pressure on agriculture industry that forms the backbone of the US economy. The food and agriculture sector in the US is valued at over $10 trillion, accounting for about 20% of the economy and supporting more than 48 million jobs. So any sustained fertilizer shortage does not just impact farms. It ripples through supply chains, retail, transport, even tourism. And then there is India. India's exposure to this crisis is twofold, both as a consumer and as an exporter. On one hand, higher global fertilizer prices can push up the input costs for Indian farmers. On the other hand, India's agricultural exports are deeply tied to West Asian markets. And over the past decade, the Gulf has become a key destination for products like rice, bananas, spices, meat, dairy. In fact, more than 70% of India's exports of certain items like sheep and goat meat, fresh beef, bananas, some spices, go to this region. So any disruption in trade flows, whether from the conflict, the shipping bottlenecks, or the economic slowdown, could hit Indian exporters hard. And the consequences could be felt across farm incomes, rural demand, and the broader agricultural economy. So what we are witnessing basically is a shift from an energy crisis to a food crisis in a way, from regional conflict to global consequences, serious ones. Because when fertilizer supply is choked or impacted, food production could come next. And when food is impacted, it's not just markets that react, it's millions of households around the world that feel the pinch. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.